Please be advised that Little Miss Recap contains adult language.
These were the motorbikes seized by Paris police, apparently used by freelance photographers or paparazzi following Princess Diana's car. The suggestion that the paparazzi may have caused the princess's death incensed many. There were angry scenes outside Buckingham Palace aimed at journalists and newspapers.
They killed Diana.
Commercial journalists and commercial journalists.
They killed Diana.
The most outspoken condemnation came from the princess's brother in South Africa.
This is not a time for recriminations, but for sadness. However, I would say that I always believed the press would kill her in the end. But not even I could imagine that they would take such a direct hand in her death, as seems to be the case. It would appear that every proprietor and editor of every publication that has paid for intrusive and exploitative photographs of her, encouraging greedy and ruthless individuals to risk everything in pursuit of Diana's image, has blood on his hands today.
Hi everyone, welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast where even the royal children can be pain in the ass teenagers. I mean, William during this photo shoot had all the energy of my girls.
He wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted nothing at all.
He wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted nothing to do with Charles. He wants nothing to do with Diana. He wants nothing to do with anything.
No.
He wants to sit there and play Mortal Kombat and, I don't know, eat Cheetos.
And eat Cheetos and fuck off and watch TV all the time.
Yes.
And be left alone in his teenage angst. He was 15 when this happened.
15. Wow. 15. Oh, how old was Harry?
12.
Little precious Harry.
Little precious Harry. Who still likes his mom. You can tell. He still likes his mom. William is over. Not that William doesn't like his mom, but like William is full teenager.
Is the official
William hates
of Amanda Lipnick is
no.
Prince William hates his mother.
No, I'm not saying that. But you can tell, like, Harry has not, Harry does not hate his family yet in the way that William does, and the way that all teenagers do.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amy.
Oh, well, we should introduce ourselves. My name is Amy Archer.
Yes.
And my sidekick here is Amanda Lipnack-Radell, and we're here to talk all things Crown today.
Yes, we are. And what I need to say is, this is making me sad because I know where it's going.
Oh, yeah, we do. We
know where it's going. And I actually have watched all 4 episodes at this point. I won't spoil anything, but in the whole last episode, I'm like, just don't do that. No, don't do that. Like, you keep looking at her going, just one different choice, and this doesn't happen.
I know. It's really sad.
It's really sad. Fucking sad.
Do you know, I was listening to the official Crown podcast before we logged on, and they only have the one out for episode 1. And the researchers, which, what a dream job.
What a great job that would be, yeah.
The researchers were saying that when Mohammed Al Fayed invited Diana to the yacht, he actually didn't own the yacht. Oh. He had to go buy it.
Oh, specifically for her?
He bought it for her and set it up the way that he thought a princess would want it set up. How about that?
Oh my God. What an interesting Mohammed Al Fayed
I think he owned the Bang yacht, but I don't think he owned the big yacht.
Okay, so he had to buy the big yacht, the Bang yacht. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
Yes,
got it.
Yes. So how about that?
Wow.
And apparently he was real problematic, Mohammed Al Fayed.
He wasn't a great guy. At all.
Yeah, like I guess he was, desperate to be in British society, like we talked about, but also like, and I could be just, spouting off here. So come for me. I want to say like he was either arrested or charged with some shit, like that he was doing shady, like financial shit. So he was not a good dude.
No, he wasn't a particularly good dude. And since we dive into a piece of history, we'll get there, but I dove into, did he hire the paparazzi?
Okay, good.
To do that. That's what I chose.
Yeah. And I will say, artistically, creatively, I loved how this episode opened. I thought it was really well done.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. I like this. And yeah, this is interesting. And it's the shortest of the 4.
Oh, okay.
It's only 39 minutes.
Guys, I will tell you this. Amanda forced me to watch Escaping Twin Flames.
Sat on her, forced her eyelids open.
Gun to my head. And
yeah.
Wow. We're going to be talking about that in the upcoming weeks, so stay
Yeah.
tuned. Watch this space for
Yes.
Amy's unadulterated
Rage.
rage.
Yeah, these people are flipping nuts, and I feel so bad for all of their victims.
That Jeff motherfucker, Amanda, I'm going to say this right now. He might be worse than Cody Brown.
Shit. Well, he impacted more people.
Right.
Cody just fucked up his family.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like
when I was
we
thinking
had the time of Cody versus Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is worse because he impacts more people. It's scope.
Like, who would you rather be stuck on a bang yacht with? Cody or Jeff?
Oh, God. Do I have to bang either of them?
You don't have to. You're just on the bang yacht, but you don't have
that
to
place
bang
is big
anyone.
enough I can get away. I'll pick Cody.
Wow, you heard it here first, guys. Amanda Lipnack Radell wants to go on the bang yacht with Cody Brown.
That's not at all what I said. Not in the least.
I'm a little mischievous this morning.
You're a little spicy. Good God. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's all that twin flame, you know?
Yes, it's burning. The twin flame is. Do you feel like Timmy is your twin flame?
Timmy's my twin flame.
Oh, God. Like I told you in Steph last night, I'm going to start trying to convince Todd that we're twin flames.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Has to happen.
I'll just start throwing twin flame quotes at him very subtly. See if I can get him to start getting nervous.
There you go. Did he watch it with you?
He was in and out a bit. I started watching the other one that's on, I keep wanting to say Yahoo. That's not it. Amazon Prime. It's not as good as the Netflix one, but he was watching some of that with me last night.
Okay. I gotcha.
He's like, these people are nuts. I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Take us away.
Let's take us away. So we are at The Crown, season 6, episode 2, Two Photographs. I've loved this whole series, how they frame episodes.
Me too.
And the titles. So we meet an Italian photographer named Mario Brenna.
Stop right there. Is he hot? What do we think? Because I was kind of attracted to him.
Yeah, I think he's hot.
Okay.
I feel like he's got some good swagger.
Yes.
That makes him even hotter.
Yes,
I
agreed.
found him attractive.
Okay.
I found him much more attractive than, say, his photography counterpart, which we'll get there. And he's talking about how really the market for photographers is starting to shift.
Mm-hmm.
And the place that you're really starting to make money is as a paparazzi and not doing portraiture and commissioned work and things like that. Getting pictures of famous people is where the money is. And he says that to be a good photographer. I don't know if he's a good father. I know nothing about him.
As far as we know, he doesn't have children. I would bet he's not a great father.
I bet he's not. I bet he's bagging his way all around Europe.
I'm picking up. But
anyway. But he describes being a good photographer as being a hunter, and you have to be creative, take risks. And we see him like go behind somebody's scene and try to get photos of famous people. Now we go to his exact opposite, a gentleman, a lovely old guy.
This is
Duncan
the guy you want to be the father to your children.
Yes, I want Duncan to be the grandfather to my children. He's adorable.
Right.
And he does traditional portraiture. He's from Scotland. But what he's known most for are photos of the royal family. He says, where the queen goes, I go. He's a big fan of Elizabeth. Big time.
Here's how jaded I've become with all the murder shows I watched. I'm like, is his obsession with the queen a little... Could that be problematic? Is he going to hurt her?
I don't think his is, but I could see where that could be a concern.
Yeah.
And we see Elizabeth doing some sort of, ceremonial pulling back of a name of a building or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. And she greets Duncan. She clearly knows who Duncan is. And he just feels very connected to her. And he says she unites a divided country under her. I'm not sure everyone else would agree with that, but
yeah,
he's
the royal family kind of did the dividing.
Right. Yeah, but he calls himself an Elizabethan, and he is dedicated to her.
He's adorable, and his wife is super supportive.
Yes, they're just adorable little couple together, living their little tiny Scottish life. He drives a Volvo, very practical. I like him. And so we see the royal family, and we're at some royal family meeting. We've got Anne there. We've got Charles there. We've got Margaret, Elizabeth.
It was good
Philip.
to see Anne. Good to see
It was
Anne.
good to see Anne. I'm glad we didn't totally forget about her. She's back. And we talk about how the royal family website.
Oh my God, this is brilliant.
And they do their. So, do you know how many kids are watching that going, what is that noise?
I know.
And meanwhile, we're all like, oh.
I know.
I'm almost nostalgic for that noise. And Amy, they have 1 million people logging on per week.
How about that?
And it is the jankiest looking website, but for 1987, it was great.
It was great. You could click on their pictures and it would tell you about them. I mean, you know.
It was high tech. Absolutely. I believe it's Anne who's like, logging on, does that have to do with logs? Like none of these people have any clue what the hell's happening here.
No.
Anne got some patronages, so we're just chit-chatting, and then the head dude is like, we need to discuss item 12, which is confidential, and it's Diana.
Yeah.
They talk about her secret weekend in Paris with Dodi, and they say she has every right to do what she wants, but it's cause for concern if it becomes a committed relationship, especially the fear of Mohammed Al Fayed trying to use this to his advantage, specifically for citizenship. They all know about him. He's been trying to become a citizen for years. No one wants him. And so they're not having this. And we see Diana and Dodi on the boat. Muhammad calls for a progress report. Jesus, can you imagine your father calling up and being like, did Amy bang him yet? Did Amy bang him yet? Have they fucked?
Are they on the
What's going on?
What's happening? Are they sharing a bed? Is there whatever?
Whatever's happening.
You know
Do
what
we
I
have
need?
proof of coitus?
This is not a bad idea. You know what I need? I need a progress report on Gary and those women in those fantasy suites.
Oh, yes.
Golden Bachelor.
We do need a progress report on that. I couldn't tell. Do you think it was the same room?
Oh, God, I hope not.
I hope not, too.
I hope not.
I hope
to
not,
hose
too.
that thing down in between.
After Leslie flying off the rafters. I did love the fact that Stephanie pointed out it's really good that Teresa did not ask Gary the last time he fucked, because it would have been about 8 hours ago.
I said that, and yes, I stand by it.
Yes.
That would have been awkward.
I can't believe we have to wait a week. I hate that we have to wait a week. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
It's not good. So Muhammad's trying to check it out. He wants to know if they're banging. He gets the maid on the phone, and she says that they have been sleeping in the same room and in the same bed. We don't know anything more than that, which how could we? Unless we're in there.
So this is one of my I'll need to listen to the official episode when it comes out, but like these are the things like I want to know, like, was this based on truth?
Right. Did he actually
you know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Or is this kind of like, yeah, we think, you know what I mean?
And it makes sense with what he was trying to do. And he's a completely unboundaried scumbag to his son.
Right. But I also want to know, like, were they sharing a bed? Like, is that true? Do you know what I mean? Because
I suspect they were.
We suspect that they were, but this is where this show has always bothered me. Okay. And I listened to Peter Morgan.
Ah, yes.
And Peter Morgan was saying that he wanted to specifically keep this 20 years back from the present so that it felt more historical.
Ah.
And this is exactly why. Because he was saying, like, you know, when you get into more current events,
right,
the record's not set yet.
Right.
So it's interesting, that mindset, because we don't know for 100% if they were banging unless the maid did report. But then whose word do we have?
Right, the maid,
just Moo-Moo's.
Right.
Who
by the way just died.
Oh, did he really?
He died September 1st.
And I wanna go back to our first episode where I accused him of not being upset that his son died. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I read it on the replay and I was like, whoa, kind of bitchy.
And we do see in episode 4 his reaction, and he seems to be upset. So he's happy. Dodi's happy that they're sleeping in the same room, or at least that's our report. And so he's decided to hire a paparazzi photographer.
You mean Moo-Moo's happy? You said
Moo-Moo's happy. Yes.
Moo-Moo's happy.
Moo-Moo's happy.
I mean, I'm sure Dodi's happy as well.
I mean, if he's banging Diana, who wouldn't be happy? I'd be happy to bang Diana. She's not even my type, but I would totally bang her.
Yep.
And so this is where Mario comes in for the first photograph.
Yes.
Dodi, Moo-Moo hires him.
Moo,
And,
moo,
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 moo.
moo.
And we see him going to hire a boat and, getting all this going. He gets
Mhm.
his way out there. On the boat, Dodi asks Diana about her summer. I feel like he asks her what she's doing this summer like 1,700 times.
Yeah, clearly we know why. He wants to
Right.
bang her all summer. Yeah.
All summer.
Yeah.
He wants to get her right in his pocket and further. And she says she's going home to see the boys. Then she's going to Bosnia for a landmine situation,
Landmine
uh,
tour.
a landmine event. And she doesn't get the boys back until August 31st.
Mm.
This is important.
Mhm.
Dodi says, and she asks what he's doing. And he's like, well, I'm supposed to be getting married.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Diana asks, and now? He says he's probably not getting married. Really?
Probably
You
not.
think? Probably not. And she asks if Kelly knows about them. He says he's going to fly back to LA to tell her while Diana's in Bosnia.
Which we don't know if he ever does.
No, we don't know.
Mm-mm.
He asks about Diana's landmine work and she talks about it. And I thought it was really interesting.
Me
Like we
too.
said before, 2 years prior to this, no one would even talk about landmines. And 2 years later, after all of the advocacy she did, 100 countries had signed on to a landmine ban. She really was making headway in this. And she talks about how there's the double impact to landmine victims. One, obviously hitting the mine and being
Mhm.
injured, but
Mhm.
also the rejection from your community based on your disfigurement and what's happened to you. And so it's like a double thing.
Yes.
And she chats with this guy and he's like, everybody who's stepped on a landmine has their date, and that's like the before and after of their whole life. And she jokes that the day she stepped on a landmine happened to be July 29th, 1981, the day she
Which
married Charles.
wasn't a great comparison.
No, not at all. A little
No.
let them eat cakey, but that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. Didn't love that part. That's why I don't again, this is where we're like, would she really say that?
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
But I think he does a good balance of Peter Morgan does a good balance of showing us that she is still a little naive. She still is a little, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And maybe somebody who's like slightly naive would say something like that.
It's just tone deaf.
Yeah.
And for somebody like her who really did take these things seriously,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And now they're getting real flirty and he's admiring her legs
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
all over that. And he asks what she thinks. She asks what she thinks he likes best about her. Him.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of flirty back and forth. I can't even say that right. And she says she's into his hands. You can
Yeah.
tell a lot about because a man's hands touch a woman's special parts. Yeah, they do.
Whoa.
Oh, and just your lips also need to be the right temperature. And so they start making out, and this is when the famous photographs get taken.
Now I looked at these photographs. I'm sure
Yes,
you did as well.
of course.
She has her back to the camera, right? There is one that's a side angle, but it's hard
It's
hard to
hard
see
to
if they're
tell.
actually kissing.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell they are, but it's not like we see two people's faces, mouth to mouth, tongues out.
No. It's not like when Gary the Golden Bachelor makes out with someone and they zoom right into that. It's very it's I don't know. They could be hugging.
Mhm. They could be, but
They could be. Mm,
yeah.
okay.
Anyway, we get all these photos. Then we see Diana come back from her trip. Dodi goes to his dad's, and then we see the news that these photos exist, and it's starting to spread. First call is to this old dude who says he wants to be kept informed.
Yeah.
Now, Diana is home, and the boys come running in and tackle her, and it's very sweet. She's wearing a Duran Duran t-shirt, which made Todd super happy. They play
It didn't
Uno.
even occur to me that this was gonna be the last time she saw them.
Yeah.
It did not occur to me.
Yeah. It didn't occur to me till they were leaving, and I realized,
Right.
fuck, this is the last time they see their
Yeah.
mother. And they play Uno. They're just having a good time.
Yeah. Good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun. And there are some other kids there. I had guessed friends of, but in my research, it sounds like they were cousins of
Okay.
William and Harry.
Okay.
And Diana gets a call from Mr. Fayed, and she's like, "No, I'm not answering that." And they're like, whoever says, he says it's urgent. He
Mhm.
goes to the phone, tells her about the photos on the
Mhm.
boat, and she said, "I thought you said no one knew where we were. I thought you said everyone, this was safe to do." And he says he can't figure out how the media knew.
Can't figure it out.
Mm-mm,
Dear old
mm-mm.
dad.
Dear old dad. So now we go back to the old man who answered the phone. He's Elizabeth's secretary or whatever
Mhm.
his title is. And he's telling Elizabeth about the photos. Paper has offered £200,000.
Which is a lot of money in 1997. I mean, it still is, but
I did the conversion.
oh, okay.
I did the conversion. In today's money, it's approximately $560,000. Half
Which
a
in our
million
world,
dollars.
this doesn't seem like a lot, but at the time, for a
Yeah,
photo,
for a photo.
that was a
One photo.
lot. Yes.
Yes. And the Sun and Daily Mail offered £100,000 each to reproduce the photos. They're
Mhm.
coming out on Sunday in all the papers. There's going to be a big media campaign about it.
Yeah.
It's going. It's going
It's
wild.
happening.
It
Mhm.
is happening. And Elizabeth is not thrilled with this.
Elizabeth
And
is not happy. I mean, she's got her Camilla stink face on.
she really has her Camilla
Mhm.
Stank face on. And I read that Mario Brenna made $3 million off of this photo in total.
That makes him a little more attractive to me. Now that he's 3 million. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words.
It's getting more and more attractive by the minute. Yes. And so we see Diana's helping the boys pack. Charles is picking them up. And she says, "You guys seem so eager to leave me."
I mean, I related to this part hard. I mean, it's, you know,
Yeah.
they're getting to the point where
They don't need her anymore in
you
that
are
way.
and it's almost like it goes beyond that though. It's almost like they hate you. You know what I mean? It's real weird. It's real weird. And we
And it's
know that they only treat their mothers like that because we're their safe space. We get it. We know that.
yes.
They could
And they
take all
have
their
to push
angst out on
away
us.
so they'll leave
Yes.
in the world. It's all
Yep.
developmentally normal. It
Yep.
just still sucks.
It hurts very, very, very much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And William tries to reassure her. Harry gives her a big hug. She kind of has to force William to give her a hug.
Mhm.
William asks what she'll be doing, and she tells him about Bosnia, and William says, "And then?" William
Mhm.
has totally tracked what's
Mhm.
happening here. She tracked that he tracked that she took the
William's a
call.
buzzkill even then.
William is not having this at all. And he's like, "And then?" She says, "Oh, I'll be spending some time with some friends." And William asks if it's Dodi. He thinks he's weird. Diana
Mhm.
says he's sweet and he means well. To me, this says clearly in Diana's brain, this is a fling. He's
Yeah,
sweet and he
yeah,
means well.
yeah, yeah,
This isn't her forever person in her
yeah.
brain at all. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Well, it winds up being the forever
I
person.
think, I mean, we'll see more as they progress, but I think she honestly believes that he can protect her and keep her, kind of like a
Yeah.
Jackie O, Aristotle Onassis thing. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like
mhm.
he can whisk her away and keep her safe.
He's wealthy, he's powerful,
Yes.
he can do all these
Although he is
things.
no Onassis, but
No, no.
yeah. Can we
And,
R.I.P. Jackie Kennedy just for a second?
of
R.I.P.
course, we can
Okay.
always RIP
R.I.P.
Jackie
Mhm.
Kennedy. Can we also talk about just how amazing Grey Gardens is? But that's a whole other conversation. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. And, well, Diana makes the kids promise that they'll talk every day.
Mhm.
They do.
And
So
William's like, "Whatever, mom.
to
Fine, whatever."
you. And Diana walks them out. The boys get in the car, and she and Charles have this lovely little conversation. And I want to believe this was real.
Every time I look at him, I just wanna dive on him and make out with him. I mean, what is it? Because he's Noah, because he's
He's
Dominic
Noah.
West, because it's fucking with my head. How am I so attracted to Prince Charles? God. Peter Morgan, I hate you.
And then when he's walking around in the kilt, oh,
I
Jesus
know, I
Christ.
know.
Oh,
I can't
a
control
man
it.
in a kilt is sexy.
Jesus.
And they talk about how, they could do divorce well. They could do co-parenting well. They didn't do marriage well, but they could do this well. And She's like,
Again,
"Well,
again, I need to know, did they make peace like that?
I
Because that's
want to believe that
important.
they did. I
I wanna
want to
believe they did
believe."
too, but knowing Charles, I don't think so.
I don't think so either,
He
and
was kind of a
w
dickbag.
yes, and we'll never know.
Mhm.
He tells her that he's proud of her for her landmine work. He tells her that they're partners, and let's be brilliant at divorce. He kisses her cheek and he leaves. And I just said, "That's the last time they
And
see their
William and
mom."
Harry see it all. They're watching out the
Mhm.
back window like
Yeah.
hawks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they are watching as they drive away, and that's the
Mhm.
last time they see their mother, and fucking A, that sucks.
Yeah.
And the security guard pulls up in a kinda crappy looking car, a crappy looking car for that area. Like,
Yeah,
it's
for
a
the
totally
royal
normal looking
family.
car, but for a royal
Yes.
family, it does not look like the car that should be
Right.
driving up to that
Right.
castle. And he gives her a satellite phone that Dodi is sending
Remember
to her,
satellite phones like
um,
that?
in case things develop.
Guys, you have no idea. If you're not a Gen Xer, you have no idea how obsessed we were with satellites.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
was via satellite. You
Yeah,
just
everything happened by a satellite.
It was like satellites were just a thing, and now
They
you never
were.
hear of them at all.
No, and they're doing a hell of a lot more than they did back then,
Yes,
but
yes.
and Diana's on her way to Bosnia. We see her on the plane making notes for her speech. She goes to this small town. People are thrilled to meet her, and they talk about landmines, and she actually walks a cleared field.
This is wild.
I remember this. I remember those photos.
Wow, like,
Mhm.
talk about putting your mouth money where your mouth is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ, like, wow,
And she's in a flak jacket with a visor over her face. I'm like, "That's not gonna help
No,
anything."
I was really surprised by that.
I
That was
was too.
amazing.
I was too. Um,
But that just
Meanwhile,
goes to show that side of her that you and I've talked about,
yeah,
where
she was
she's
very
willing to get in there and be with the people, and that's what we
mhm,
loved so much about her.
exactly. She's willing to
Mhm.
connect and do the real work. She doesn't like doing the ceremonial things.
Correct.
She wants
Yep.
to do the real thing.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, back at Balmoral, things are going well. The papers start to arrive. The old dude is catching them while William and Harry just walk by him. They're on
Yeah.
their way out to
Yep.
play. And I
Yep.
read William and Harry talking about this trip and how they spent most of the time outside. The whole family just loved being outside and doing outside stuff, which is great.
So the researcher said that William and Harry loved Balmoral so much, not because they loved their father, but
Right.
because the paparazzi would never get them there.
Ah,
So
that's a good thing
it
too.
was their respite
It was
from that
their fortress of
craziness.
solitude.
Yes, yes,
It was their fortress of
yes.
solitude. Plus, it just looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Go there too. Um, the old guy goes up to the queen, asks her if she has a minute, and they start going through the papers. And Elizabeth is disgusted.
Of course she
She
is.
has Pikachu stank face on like no one's business. She is
Oh
not
my
happy
god, I
with her.
can't believe that hussy. Oh
I
my
know.
god, go get my teacup. I don't know. I don't know.
You're still gonna get us canceled for your British accent. There's an 11-page spread.
Wait. I love that the queen is yelling for her teacup.
My teacup. Jeeves,
Oh god, I'm a terrible person. Go on.
bring me my tea.
This will be the last episode ever of Love and
May,
Oh.
come back to me, Amy. It's an 11-page spread with 78 photographs that have been
Wow.
syndicated around the world.
Well, he was like
Oh, yeah, and that lens was
machine
intense.
gunning with his camera. That's the best way I could describe
Yeah,
it.
that
Yes.
lens was intense.
Yeah.
Well, it made me miss film
Oh,
cameras.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
this whole episode made me miss film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad was a photographer, and we used to hang out. I used to do darkroom stuff with him.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
of
so fun.
course.
And Charles is looking at the photos. Harry comes in to tell him it's time for lunch. They're trying to keep this from the boys.
Good luck.
And I said, these are the most lucrative photographs in the world.
Mhm.
And William finally sees them.
Yeah.
He gets his hands on the paper, and you
I
can just
mean,
see he's like, fuck.
in retrospect, guys, they're not that racy.
No, they're
I mean,
not.
come on.
They're really not that racy at all. But he doesn't want to see his mother making out
Right, right.
with Dodi because
We
he
think
doesn't like her.
making out. We
We
can't
think.
even tell. Yeah.
He doesn't like Dodi, so that's why.
Mm-mm.
And the queen is chatting with Philip about this. And the queen says, one would almost feel sorry for her if one weren't so cross with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The queen she wrestles with her relationship with Diana.
She
That's the
does.
way they portray it anyway. Like, she
Yeah.
really, and she doesn't hate her.
No, she doesn't hate her.
She's just a thorn in her side.
Right. She drives her
Yeah.
nuts. She
Yeah.
doesn't
Yep.
understand her behavior because it's
Right.
so different than how the queen would ever behave.
Mhm.
And I think she does love her. If nothing else, she's the mother of her
Yeah.
grandsons.
Yeah. Yep.
And we see Diana at the press conference to talk about the landmines, and it goes to hell in about 2 seconds. Some
Now, is
reporter
that
gets
press
news in
conference
SCOTUS.
can we watch that press conference somewhere? Like, is
Yeah, I
this
think so. I
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
we should go back and do that. I'll find a clip of it somehow. And they're asking, "What's your relationship with Dodi? Does the queen know? Are you in love? Are you gonna
Mhm.
get married?" And it's just awful.
Yeah,
It's just
and
awful.
she's like, "Let's focus on these victims."
Right.
Even though I diminished their plight when I compared it to my wedding day, but let's focus on these
Right?
victims.
For a split second, I'm like, "You compared landmines to your wedding day?" No, Diana.
Yeah, she did.
Woo!
She
Still
did.
early, I haven't had all my coffee yet.
Mhm.
And then we see Diana alone in her room, and she, like, rips open her jeans, and she's just beside herself, biting on her finger.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
She's
like
upset.
she's trying to she's self-harming in a way, like, she's
Yeah.
trying to.
She understands both the gravity of the situation in this moment, but also
Yeah.
can't help but, there's a little bit of like, I deserve to live how I want, which she's
Yeah,
always felt that way, and I agree with her.
absolutely. Agreed.
But yeah,
I
it's not good.
I mean, she
Don't forget how much self-harm she has engaged in the
that's what
past.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
she was a bulimic for a long time.
Yep.
Like, she's oh
And when I saw
gosh.
her unbuckling her pants, I got a little nervous that we
Me
were
too, I
going
thought
into that we were going into
she was
some
gonna
kind of
purge or
territory.
something.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe she did, who knows? But she was absolutely biting her finger. And so now we have Charles's publicist, his team,
His team, Charles' team. Mhm.
Charles's team. Soon we at Little Miss Recap will have a team, but for now,
Mhm.
us. And the PR guy says it gets even worse. Mr. Fayed is said to be engaged and to be married to someone else.
Yeah.
So not only is she hooking up with the brown boy, the son
Mhm.
of the guy we don't like, he's engaged to someone else.
I didn't even think of it until you just said it that, of course, there's a little bit of racism in
Oh,
this. Yeah, it
absolutely.
didn't even occur to me. Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
right, because he's not a white dude.
Uh-uh. And if you remember
Yeah.
last season, Diana had a flirtation with a nurse who I believe was Indian. Not a
Mm,
nurse, a doctor who I believe was Indian.
yes. Yeah, and the queen and certainly Philip is not gonna
No,
like this.
no, no. I don't think Philip has ever met a non-white person he liked. So,
Nope, nope,
ew.
nope.
And Charles is shocked by this. He learns of the lawsuit that Kelly is suing Dodi. Um, and says this is just not going to get quiet anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
And the PR guy says this is an opportunity to show the distinction between Diana and Charles. Saint Tropez versus Scotland.
Mhm.
Scandal versus dignity.
Mhm.
Irresponsibility versus duty. A tabloid princess versus a broadsheet prince.
Mhm.
So now they're going to use this. And he suggests we do photos with the boys. Charles doesn't want to do it.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't know how to justify it to the boys. He knows they hate it. He hated it when his mother made him do these types of things.
Yeah.
He
William,
doesn't want
of
to do
course,
it.
is not gonna wanna do it.
No, no, no.
William just wants to lie around and eat dominoes.
Eat dominoes and play Mortal Kombat. And the PR dude says, well, Diana let leak to her favorite journalist that he had spent the last weekend alone with Mrs. PB
Yeah.
and didn't want to take the boys for a weekend till he came back from the holiday. And
Yeah,
Charles is
because
like,
remember, he was getting the kids back and then sending them off with a nanny.
right, right.
Mhm. As you
Yeah,
do.
as you do.
Mhm.
And Charles doesn't believe it, but he's pissed
Yeah.
that she would do this because he thought they were in a good place, as we saw. And Charles doesn't know how he'll talk the boys into it. And the other question is, where are we going to find a trustworthy photographer? Here's Duncan. Trustworthy photographer. So cute.
Aw.
He gets the
"I'm
phone
here,
call.
ma'am. I'm here to photograph the
Right.
queen."
And his wife is like, oh, and gets him all ready with his stuff and packs his car with him. Like, this is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to
Yes.
Duncan in his
Yeah.
life. That
Well,
he
I
would
thought
go.
about this. This would be similar to me getting a phone call
Mhm.
that I'm to, like, write a speech or write an article about Barack Obama.
Sure, absolutely. And you
I
have
would
to go
die.
talk to him.
I would die. Mhm.
Sure.
Mhm.
And I'm coming with you
Yes.
as part of your team. Part of the team. I'm
I'd
coming
like
with
to
you.
introduce my team, and they're all like you, Stephanie, like all women drooling over Obama.
Yes, we would be.
Yes. Mhm.
And you can tell he's so nervous to take the photos. Charles is talking William and Harry into it. They're afraid they're going to be made fun of by their friends, particularly with their dad running around in a kilt with a shepherd's crook. And he's like, no one would make fun of you. And the kids are like, yeah, they will. Have you
Yeah.
met
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
They suck. And he tells the boys they don't have to wear a kilt too. So I did also read that pretty much anytime he is in Scotland, Charles wears a kilt.
Well, Charles really loves the Scottish people. We
He
know
does.
this.
He does,
Um,
yes.
if I were Prince William, I would be drunk with power.
Mm,
And if kids made fun of me, I would have them thrown out of the country.
sure.
Mhm.
Off with their heads.
Mhm.
We
Yep.
could just off with their heads then.
I
He's
would just
got
be drunk with power.
you go off with your head.
Get out of here. Throw you into the, I don't know, sea.
Throw you into the crypt. Go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Go.
Yes.
I'll have my
Yes.
people take care of it.
Yep.
And so we have the taking of the photographs. And I actually went and looked at these photographs. Interestingly, they portray it on the show as a gray day. The
Mhm.
photographs show a sunny day. Charles is
Mhm.
not in a sweater, he's in a short sleeve shirt. But they have William and
Does he look as hot as Dominic West?
he does not look as hot as Dominic West, but he does not look horrible looking
Ooh,
either.
okay, I'll have to go look.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they got the outfits perfect with the boys.
Mhm.
And they're on the edge of the stream. They're playing with their black lab, whose name is Widgeon.
Typical name, Widgeon.
Yeah, Widgeon.
Mhm.
I should
Mhm.
too. And you could just tell the boys are so uncomfortable with this. They don't
Yeah,
want to be doing this.
they don't.
Um, Gordon tries to get them to like skip a rock into the stream to get the dog to play. Like he's just trying to help them
Yeah.
just be.
Yeah.
And you see Gordon developing the
Duncan or
photographs.
Gordon? What's his name?
His name is Duncan. Why did I write Gordon? I don't know. His name is
I'm gonna
Duncan.
stop you right there.
His name is Duncan. Who the hell's Gordon? I don't know. Duncan, however,
Is his
develops
name Duncan
his name is Duncan Muir.
Okay.
And Duncan Gordon develops the photos. And we see them start to spread in the papers. Elizabeth and Philip talk. Elizabeth says that Diana took the Harrods helicopter to a psychic in Derbyshire. This is our second reference to Derbyshire.
Mhm, it is.
She went to the
'Cause she was at
Rolls-Royce
the
plant.
Rolls-Royce factory
Right.
there, yeah.
What's happening in Derbyshire, man? She describes it as terrorizing some teeny village. Note when she went to the Rolls-Royce factory, it was not terrorizing a tiny village, but Diana going to meet the psychic is.
Yes.
And to find out what her future is with Dodi, Elizabeth tells Philip about Dodi's fiance, and Philip's response is, "Spare me."
Oh, Philip. Fuck
Fuck
off,
you.
Philip.
Don't like
Jesus.
you.
No.
Elizabeth says that Diana's behavior is becoming more and more erratic and reckless. And instead of learning from her mistakes, she's flying back to the south of France.
Mm.
And Elizabeth hopes that girl can find peace.
They said in the past, or in the last, I think 3 months of her life, or maybe even weeks, she flew like 16 times.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was real. They were calling it frenetic energy, which it kind of was. She was like all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. And Elizabeth hopes that the girl can find peace. You can see how this is really tearing her apart, Elizabeth. Like she doesn't know what to do. And we end with Diana sitting on the diving board in that gorgeous blue suit, just looking really upset, not knowing what to do. But she's back on Mumu's boat. And that's where we leave her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
God, she's beautiful. Jesus Christ.
She's beautiful, and I don't know. I enjoy this show so much.
I do too.
I really do. I mean, this season is not getting good reviews.
Really?
Yeah, people are panning it, and I don't know why. I think it's
I love
very
it.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, my only complaint about Diana is that every time she does the head down thing with the eyes up, that's like the only look she has. But I
The
like it. And
crown on its worst day is better than most things I've seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, we're going to have our history lesson.
Yay, history lesson.
History lesson. History lesson, history lesson. And so my thought was, did Muhammad hire this paparazzi dude?
Mhm.
So Mario Brenna denies that he did this, that he hired him. He
Okay.
says that he was in Monaco, he was living in Monaco, and he saw the boat and he took a chance.
Okay.
That's what he says. So in the New York Times, I'll just read to you what it says. It says,
Mhm.
for a start, the Crown has Mohammed Al Fayed, Dodi's father, and a retail and hotel tycoon who died this year, which is how I found out he died,
Mhm.
appearing to hire Brenna to take the shots in an effort to push Diana and Dodi's relationship into the public eye and control the pair to marry.
Mhm.
In an email, Annie Salzberg, the head of research for the show,
Okay, she's the one I heard the interview with.
okay,
She's great.
she's also the sister of the New York Times publisher A.G. Salzberg.
Mhm.
That's why I'm like, I know that name. Said that there are a few theories about how Brenna managed to find the Jonikal,
Jonacall.
Jonik,
Yeah.
Jonikal,
Jonacall. Yeah.
moored somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea.
Did she use the word moored? Oh my
Mhm.
god.
Well, this is the New York Times.
Oh,
So,
okay. Because I
of course they
love the
did.
word moored.
I like the word. Amy, we need to do an entire episode where we just talk about our favorite
There's
words.
a song that I love called "The Moorings."
Mm.
It's really good. I forget who sings it, but
I'll have to
it's
look it up.
beautiful, and you should listen to it anyway. Go
Okay.
on.
Whoever sings it.
Mhm.
And so, but the one the team found most credible was the one of Al Fayed's employees leaked the boat's location to Brenna. And
Oh,
that
okay.
would make sense, if anything. I mean, I would think, if I am somebody who doesn't have allegiance to this family and I find out that the Princess of Wales is on this boat, I'd happily sell that information.
So, okay, so the New York Times is saying that the most credible theory is that the employees sold the location of the boat to the photographer?
All they say is leaked the boat's location,
Like,
but I
what
have
was
to
it?
imagine.
Yeah, what would be in it for them if they weren't getting paid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. So on August 1st, 1997, Brenna said he approached Diana's yacht on a fast moving inflatable boat after mistaking a blonde woman making a telephone call on its upper deck for an old acquaintance.
Mm.
As he got closer, he was stunned to realize it was the princess. Bruno Malka, Brenna's agent at the time, who helped sell the images to Paris Match magazine, said in an email that he thought Brenna was familiar with the yacht without knowing it was Diana and Dodi on board that day, which makes it even more interesting if he just bought this yacht for Diana.
Yeah.
Why would he have a familiarity that, like,
Right.
this wasn't in the family for a long time?
Right.
And Brenna was successful, Malka added, because he had spent so many years working in the region. After spotting the couple, Brenna said he spent the next few days stalking the boat, including climbing a cliff to get a better view. From the elevated position about 400 meters away from Diana, he took several photos of Diana and Dodi in an embrace. The shots were almost blurred, Brenna said, because the heat haze meant he struggled to get the pair in focus.
Mhm.
Still, he knew immediately he'd secured a historic photo. He'd also captured an image that solved my personal and family problems, he said, at
Mhm.
a time when he had recently divorced and was not swimming in wealth.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, so first of all, he's hot, but he is a dirtbag for
Oh,
doing
sure, he's a
this.
total dirtbag, but all these
Um,
paparazzi photos are dirtbags.
yeah, and
Photographers are
I don't
dirtbags.
know, I still think Mumu was behind this.
It
He
makes
told his
sense.
staff to do it.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
somehow,
mean?
I mean,
Mhm.
it makes sense in his calculated attempt to get the
Mhm.
world to know about this
Mhm.
relationship, and I think he thought if the world knows about it, then they're gonna be forced to marry,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I don't think for Diana, this was that serious based on this. I mean, who knows? We
Who
have no idea
knows?
what was going
Yeah,
on in her
we don't
heart,
know.
but
Mhm.
I feel like this was her summer bang fling, just
Yeah.
waiting to get back
Yeah.
to the fall when the boys would be back in school, like,
She went
when
on a
we get
bang
back to
trip. She
regular
went on a
life.
bang trip.
Hey, I'd go on a bang trip to that boat.
I
She
would
didn't have to
too.
go to the bang boat. She got to be in the real boat.
I would go on a bang trip to Saint Tropez. All right,
Can
my
I interest
friend.
you in a can I interest you in a bang trip to Saint-Tropez? 'Cause that's a place.
We've said it all.
You've said it all. Do you remember
Oh,
that Saint-Tropez was a brand of suntan lotion for a while?
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
back in the
And
day.
I still say that Saint-Tropez was in a song, not the Post Malone song, was in an older song,
I'm sure. I'm
and I
sure.
can't think of which one it was. I thought it was Copacabana, nope.
No,
I
definitely
thought it
not.
was La Isla Bonita, nope.
No.
Can't figure it out, but it's in a song, I know it is.
Okay, we'll go
So
to the
we'll
Googles.
figure it out, yep.
The Google machine will tell us. But that is episode 2 of season 6, and
Yay!
like I said, I know where this is going, and I don't like it. Can we just not can we make it so Diana doesn't die?
Sure, sure.
Okay, cool.
I'll go my way back machine.
Go
Mhm,
in your time machine and make it so Diana doesn't
mhm.
die.
Alright, my friend. Guys, if you haven't already, join our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends. We have a lot of fun in there.
We sure do.
We also Amanda and I are covering Sister Wives once the current season ends, which now we know there's a 4-part tell-all,
Well, I'm glad for that, but I don't want it to be over yet.
which we'll see David Woolley, so we're very excited about
Yeah,
this.
I'm happy for the David Woolley of it all.
Very happy. If you're interested, you can join our Little Miss Recap Extra, which you can do by subscribing on Patreon, Supercast, or Apple subscriptions, and you
Mhm.
will hear our rewatch that we're going to launch
Yes,
once the current
yes.
season is over, and we're very excited. And we're doing some murder shows over there too.
We'll do murder show. We have all sorts of stuff. You got the Gold Batch wrapping up.
Yep.
Maths is still going.
Married at First Sight is still going. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
There's a
There's a
lot.
lot. We
So-
work. You work so much work.
You work so much work. We work so much
We
work.
work.
Yes,
We work so
yes.
much work.
All right, guys. And also leave us a review, please.
Yes, please.
We love reviews. We love them. I'm gonna make Stephanie read them in Kathy's voice from Golden
yes,
Bachelor.
please. All
Yes.
of them. I want that.
Yes, so
Please.
that will happen. All right, my friend. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.